Hi guys, welcome to this week's episode of Real World Basics. Today we are going to continue talking about ways to stay healthy, and today we are focusing on how to fit in fitness into your life. So there are a lot of small incremental changes you can make to your daily schedule and all the activities that you do to help promote your fitness and overall well-being. And in today's video, we're going to talk about some of those ways that you can work activity into a really busy day to still meet your fitness goals and how you can keep moving throughout the day. So the first thing you want to do when you start figuring out how to fit fitness into your life is to record your current schedule. So a lot of the time you don't actually think about your daily schedule or the specifics of the daily maintenance activities you do, like brushing your teeth, combing your hair, things like that. And some people might call this like mindfulness or being aware when you're like really in tune in the moment with the activities that you're doing. But when you try to be conscious of when you do things like walk, eat, drink, sleep, it helps you figure out where you actually are. It's quite possible that your perception of how much you do something is totally off from how much you actually do it. So in collecting data like how many steps do you make each day, how many hours of sleep do you get on average each night, how much food you consume, so like the calories or your macros, how much water do you drink, how many minutes of exercise do you get each day. All of this is going to be considered personal research. So you're going to create a baseline of data. A lot of places will say do this for about a week to get a good average of a typical day for you. So with this baseline data, think about how scientists conduct experiments. So they're not blindly guessing at the values they're working with, because that could end poorly. They carefully measure all of the values before they get started tweaking things, adding things. So when you create this baseline of data or get your weekly averages, it'll help you actually understand what your body needs and where you can give yourself a little extra help. So there are a variety of different ways to record your personal data. There's things like apps that will track your steps, your calories, macro, water, your heart rate. Fitness watches are a big thing. Smartwatches do it. Most smartphones will do it too. You can go to good old pen and paper by keeping a tally, creating a spreadsheet, something like that, just so you can keep track of all of your numbers. And then when you're done, you can make a good average. So when you are ready to start making changes in your day-to-day activity, think small first. We'll talk a little bit more about setting goals in next week's video, but some changes you can make to your daily schedule. You want to start thinking about things like where can you add steps when you are out and about, when you park your car, do you park as close to the door as you can, or do you maybe park further away and get more steps in? If you have like a dog, do you just let them out in the backyard to do their business? Or could you take them around the block each time instead? That would actually be better for both of you, honestly. And you know, there's like no shame in doing laps around your room or in your house to meet your step goal because it's all physical activity. You can also think about, what do you do when you're not doing anything? When you are standing in line at the grocery store, or maybe just standing in front of the microwave, waiting for your food to cook. Do you just stand there, or maybe could you get some steps in? Maybe could you do some calf raises, air squats, something like that, just to keep your body moving? Or do you stretch when you're sitting down watching TV? Ask yourself some questions like that about what could you do when you're not really doing anything. Even if it's just passive activity, it still counts. You can also ask, what sort of healthy substitutes can you make in your life? I talk about water a lot in my day-to-day life because a lot of people are actually super dehydrated, and that has a lot of like serious negative impacts on your well-being. So can you substitute water for other beverages? Can you walk to the grocery store instead of driving? Things like that, just small substitutions really add up over time. Stairs are another good healthy substitute. When in doubt, you could always try to take the stairs instead of the elevator or escalator, because that's really great for your leg strength and getting your heart rate up. So think about ways that you can make a healthier decision as you go through your day-to-day life. That does require you to be a lot more mindful about the activities you're doing and actively look for healthy substitutes as you go through your day. And at the end of the day, I know everybody is really busy, especially in the modern world, but finding the time is really important. You do need to remember that everyone is experiencing a totally unique life with different commitments, constraints, all that. And there's no reason that your fitness journey needs to look like everybody else's. But what is consistent across people's journeys is the commitment that they make. A commitment to the changes you make to stick with them, even if they're small. A commitment to yourself to keep moving forward, even if you feel like your movements are really small or they look different compared to others. It really just boils down to you needing to prioritize your health. I know there are a lot of things in everybody's day-to-day life that seem really important and really are, and it's hard to prioritize yourself when you have so many important things going on in your life. But you only have one body, and your health is really important, and you shouldn't let people make you feel bad for prioritizing your health either. If you're in an environment where you maybe can't make the desired changes you want to, focus on doing what you can and keep working towards the actions that will help you reach those desired changes in the future. It's always moving, always changing, and you really just have to keep plugging along and prioritizing your health and keeping your commitments you made to yourself. I really do think that it's these small changes in your day-to-day living that make the biggest difference in people's lives. Going to the gym or fitness classes or sports practice are super important in fitness, but you got to remember that the day-to-day stuff is really what makes up the bulk of your life. I wasn't particularly active outside of all of the sports I participated in, so when I stopped participating in them, I found myself super inactive. But by focusing on the many small ways to include activity in your life, you actually end up with a pretty big chunk of activity when all's said and done. So I don't know about you, but I am the type of person who does best with an organized plan, even if it's like a scribbled list on a receipt. But having goals gives you a purpose, and nothing helps keep you committed like that. Otherwise, like I'd find that we just sort of aimlessly wander through our days. So next week, we're going to start talking about how to come up with a fitness plan that works for you. So thank you guys so much for joining me for this week's episode of Real World Basics. As always, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at the Manassas Park City Library if you have any questions or suggestions for videos you'd like to see covered in upcoming Real World Basic videos. I will see you guys next week. Bye.